Do you think our microphones are working? How do we know?
They should be. Your light's on, right?
Yeah, no.
So for a long time in my life, I referred to myself as a hyper consumer. I won best dressed in high school because I never repeated an outfit. And to be honest with you, you didn't know that?
You never repeated an outfit?
Mm-mm. Now, of course, I was young and I didn't understand all the things. But then fast forward to my environmental science degree, I learned about the impacts of consumerism and obviously to align my values with, you know, what I believe the world should look like, because like I think we should live on a living planet. I decided I needed to take a step back from the consumerism of it all. But as I've been on the internet talking about largely sustainable living and anti-consumerism, I know there's still a whole other side of the internet where that's not the conversation that's happening, and actually it's like quite the opposite, where consumerism is ramping up to, and not only unsustainable in the way that we like throw around the word sustainability, but like in a literal sense, the way that we are consuming these days is not sustainable on a finite planet. We are consuming as if we have endless resources, and we simply don't. And internet culture has only exacerbated that.
Yeah.
So that's the topic we're going to talk about today. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Shelby. This is my channel, Shelbizleee. That's how you say it. This is Catherine Kellogg, also known as Going Zero Waste. I think we both probably have a weird relationship with the word influencer.
Yes.
But that's what we're seen as in like the space. And we have a very different relationship with what it means to be an influencer, but we also see what it looks like from like the end where the hyperconsumerism is happening.
Yes.
So we're going to make 2 videos. We're going to talk about that topic because really it can snowball into so many other things. And Catherine's going to have a video over on her channel too. So after you're done with this one, go over there. It'll be at the top of the description so that you can check it out. And yeah, I think we'll jump into it.
First, I have a question. When you say you never repeated an outfit, do you mean that you never wore the same piece of clothing again, or you always restyled it into a new outfit?
A lot of pieces I never wore again.
Whoa.
My friends would just come over and like take stuff from me.
We had the exact opposite experience because I wore uniforms. So I wore the same thing.
That makes life so easy,
all
though.
the time.
Now that I'm older, like when I was working in an office job, I did the same thing. I just wore the same thing every single day.
It makes it really easy.
Yeah. So I have a video that I made recently, if you want to go check it out. I'll link it up here in the corner, where I was talking about all of the reasons that I think people consume. And there's a lot of different reasons for it. And we were kicking around so many different ideas because I think it's a way for people to connect with community now, which is a whole separate like issue that I won't get too deep into, but I did it in that video. Our brains haven't evolved fast enough to catch up with the way that consumerism has changed. So in our brains as hunter-gatherers, we need to collect all the things because it's survival. But that's not how it is when you walk into like an H&M or a Zara. You don't need every single piece that you like and you see, but our brains haven't really evolved past that quite yet. But there's another aspect of it with the internet consumerism that is you watching people online and connecting to them in an emotional way where you almost feel like they're your friends. Like that's at least the intent behind the content that you're watching on apps like YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. And then those people who you are like connected to in that way start talking about this thing they love and that thing they love, and you think because you like this person that you will also love this thing and you also need it.
There's this issue that I always have to remind myself of, especially in the grocery store, and I think it's because for a long time I put food on the safe consumer list.
I also did that. Well, for me it was like first clothes, and I was like, I gotta stop. And then it was stuff for your kitchen, home goods, gadgets. That was safe. Well, you know, anyway, sorry.
And no, that's fine. I mean, this is a conversation.
Yeah.
We can talk.
Okay.
No stress. But yeah, I felt like food was something that I could safely buy. And so I started just buying all the cool kitchen stuff that I wanted, or all of the cool foods, and I wouldn't actually cook with them. I would just save them. I would think, oh, this is a really cool ingredient, these sun-dried tomatoes that I'm going to store in my pantry for 4 years and never have a recipe to intentionally use them with.
Yeah.
And I just had to stop learning to let go of that kind of scarcity mindset of saying, you know, the food will be there when you get back. And when you actually need this for a recipe, it will be there. You do not need to hoard this in your cabinet for 5 years so it goes bad. You can just go back and buy it when you actually need it and want it.
Yeah.
And I really find that's a major problem with a lot of people, and something that results in a ton of food waste is because people buy more than they can eat because they're afraid of not having enough or running out.
Yeah. Well, I'm also thinking about doing a whole different video about how much food gets wasted. Basically, us actually about how everything that we buy ends up in landfill, like from clothes to food to like everything and like the whole life cycle of that. But I do think like when you talk about the scarcity mindset too, that there are brands out there, specifically when we talk about like the neuro part of it, that are preying on that instinct in our brains.
Yes.
And influencers perpetuate that by constantly every 2 weeks replacing their whole closet with things that are only trending for a short period of time. But with a lot of these fast fashion brands, you can't really have the mentality that it'll be there later if I want it, because it won't.
And they do it under the guise of it being more sustainable, though, because they say, oh, I've got a very small curated collection. But then they threw everything out from beforehand, and this is going to be out, and what the new curated collection is going to be out of style in, 6 months?
Yeah.
A year?
Yeah.
And then it's time to throw it out and buy something
Yeah.
new.
The whole like ecosystem of that is like influencers saying that all of the things that they're buying all the time, because things go out of fashion so fast and things cycle through the brands, everything that they show you they love. It's their new favorite thing. It's the best thing they've ever seen. And our brains are like not really wired to understand and process that like that's not really the case. And so when you have this powerhouse of like brands pumping out things so fast, influencers telling you need them so often, and then it just perpetuates this big cycle of consumerism and preying on our neuro evolution, essentially.
And I don't know if you felt this, but it feels like it just keeps getting faster and faster and faster.
The big topic that is the first thing is like the way they prey on what's happening in our brains, and even reducing that friction from the time that someone tells you they love this thing and it's the best new thing. Making the friction between hearing that and making it show up at your doorstep, making that friction as small as possible, is also preying on the way your brain works.
Can you love something in 3 days? There are 3 products I've been reviewing for a year that I haven't even posted about.
Yeah.
Because I want to know how it goes through the wash. I want to know how it wears. I want to know how it feels after a year.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to spend my money on anything that's not going to be great in 3 days. I just think there's a lot more value in a much more detailed, how does this, if it's a new cup, how does this hold up in the dishwasher? How does this wash? How does this perform beyond just, oh, this looks good? And I think performance for me is such a big issue, because I think that's such a easy way to combat waste, is saying, okay, well, you like this, okay, you can buy it, but like make sure it's going to last. Make sure it's a part of your personal style.
Yeah.
Also, the thing that makes me most angry is people who do it with skincare products. Oh, my skin improved in 3 days. In 3 days?
Yeah.
It didn't. I'm sorry for whoever's editing my audio in post.
But the thing is, not only do they say they love something after 3 days,
3 days.
sometimes they say they love something when they've just opened it up in a package that was sent to them for free. Do you know what I'm saying? And and there are a few influencers, I don't know if you've heard of them, Samantha Ravindall. This was like a few years ago. She was like one of the first influencers I ever saw take a stance against the mass amounts of PR that is sent out to people.
I probably donate or give away, I would say close to 80% of what I receive in PR. I just find all of this PR incredibly wasteful.
Yeah, I think there's like been a conversation online about PR hauls, and it was brought to like the forefront for a while when I think also when like sustainability was a topic that everyone was talking about and cared about, and it's kind of died down a little bit now.
Those were the days.
Yeah, to where now have you seen Michaela Nogueira's PR hauls? No?
No.
She will start the video with 50 packages, 100 packages.
Did I need 5 pairs of Uggs? No, but here we are.
She's able to like post that way because people want to see it. Do you know what I mean? Like people are so excited about the idea of having so much stuff, they could never even use it.
The thought of having that many boxes stresses me out. I feel stress. My heart feels constricted.
Yeah.
How much of that stuff is stuff A, that she wants, B, that she'll use, C, she's a makeup influencer? Are all those going to be of her coloring? Are all those things going to look good on her?
And that's the thing. Another thing about PR is like they don't really only send you your shade. Like on the brand's end, they'll send you a whole shade range of like a foundation. And I've heard influencers talk about this, about how the amount of PR they're sent almost becomes a whole separate job, because you're right. They have to store it, unpackage it, recycle all the packaging, store all of that product somewhere, or figure out how to get rid of it in a way that's like specifically with the shade ranges. Is an influencer supposed to like, I don't know, survey their audience and figure out who matches what shade?
Well, no, it goes to the landfill because no one has time for that.
Yeah.
What is the last PR gift you accepted from a brand?
Toilet paper. I get my Who Gives a Crap toilet paper holiday box every year, so.
And honestly, I'm so jealous because I buy all my Who Gives a Crap toilet paper, and that is a PR gift I would love to get.
Yeah, these people are talking about different brands like every day because they have so many circling in and out. I try not to do that because I don't use all those different brands. Right. All the time. I use, like, I've been talking about the same toilet paper online for probably like 9 years.
Same. And that's kind of the other thing. It's
yeah.
Once I like a product, I like a product. So
right.
One of my major sponsors is Megafood, and they have been since 2019 on and off. And I've been offered so many different supplement brand deals.
Right.
And I haven't taken them because I genuinely just love Megafood.
That's fair.
I love them.
Yeah.
And they're what I use, and I believe in them as a company. And that kind of makes it hard sometimes as a quote unquote influencer. I mean, that is what we are. Where's the ethics in this industry? Where are the ethics? Because be bopping around to me means your word isn't worth a lot. If this is your favorite mascara today, and then you get a PR box 3 days from now, and this is now your favorite mascara, and then 3 days from now, this is your favorite mascara, how can anyone trust you? It devalues your trust. And in my opinion, this industry used to be built on trust. I don't even know. Do people even care anymore? Do you care?
That's a great question. And I switched up my deodorant recently on my YouTube channel.
That's fine.
And it's been a big topic of discussion because people are so used to me being so loyal to the brands that I use and love.
Right.
I'm not going to get into the whole thing. They know. But not that people can, I don't expect everyone to use the same toilet paper brand and have like strange brand loyalty to their toilet paper like I do. I just, like in general, you know, clothing, body care, makeup, all those things. If they're switching it up all the time, it's like either you don't trust them or you're just in this cycle of being excited to buy things, which is my next point. That's almost like a big part of why the hyper-consumerism creators exist, because people romanticize having that life. Ooh. Like, I think most of the top comments on these like huge PR hauls are, I wish that was me, or I'm working to be a creator so I can have that.
And I've seen some people say, wow, this could cure my depression if I had 100 packages arrive to my doorstep. And I was like, having 100 packages on my doorstep would make me depressed.
But I do think people are watching this content with the like fantasization, I guess, of like having so much stuff. And I think that mentality is toxic. I was gonna say I think it's toxic, but like definitively for our mental health, it is toxic to think that you can just buy and buy and buy all these things and then one day you'll be happy doing that. That is an endless hamster wheel that only harms you and, from my perspective, the planet.
And I think there are things that you can buy that will genuinely make you happy, right? But once your needs are met, there is nothing that is going to, there's no singular thing that is going to make you feel fulfilled. There is no singular thing that is going to make you feel like you have made it, because it is always a constant moving of the finish line. Because as soon as you get that one thing, guess what? There's going to be something new and shiny else that pops up.
Something new.
Which is why it's so important that you have to work this like inside is what's so incredibly important. The only thing that's going to make you feel fulfilled is doing the work in here, and there's nothing you can buy that's going to achieve that.
They tell us that buying more things will make us happier, so we buy the things and we're not happy, so then we repeat this cycle, you know what I mean?
Yeah, marketers have done a great job. That's what marketing is. Marketing is making you feel less than and saying, oh, well, if you only had this grill, then you could have friends over for a barbecue for Labor Day. But you need a grill to have friends. for a barbecue. And that's just not, you don't have to have a barbecue to have friends over for Labor Day. But that's what all of marketing is. It's basically making you feel less than, and their product will fill that need.
Yeah. It's a lot easier said than done to take care of the like stuff going on up here. Yes. It's been a lifelong struggle for me, which is exactly why I had the consumerism problem, because my brain is like lacking dopamine, and it is dopamine seeking. And so taking care of my mental health will help solve my like hyper consumerism issue. But I still have days where I feel like going out and buying a sweater would make me feel better.
You know what has really...
So then I go to the thrift store.
You know, one of the things that has really made me feel better and really tamped down so many of those impulses is getting back into my hobbies and creating and being with people in a community who makes me feel good. Because being around people and being able to achieve a common goal and working towards something makes me feel so much better than buying something new ever has.
And I also think a fascinating phenomenon is like when YouTube was the main place that, well, maybe for me, maybe there were haul culture on Instagram, because I mainly have been on YouTube for years and Catherine's been mainly on Instagram for years. Haul culture on YouTube was huge. I don't know if it was the same on Instagram.
I did see it. It was mostly done through stories, though. It was mostly done through stories. When stories came out, that's when like a lot of PR, I think, was really being pushed. But it was nothing like what was on YouTube.
But on YouTube, it was massive. Haul culture was massive. And so there were creators that, and all the things we're talking about, people looking up to them, getting the PR hauls, fantasizing about having that. But those people were like influencers with millions of followers. And then TikTok came out, or became popular in like 2020, I guess I should say. Suddenly, everyone has a platform, which I honestly think is great. I will say I've learned so much from TikTok, but there's so much push and pull and good and bad with that platform. And TikTok kind of turned almost everyone into an influencer. And then they introduced TikTok Shop. And now not only is everybody an influencer, everyone is a walking billboard. Like your presence online, even if you have 200 followers, can be sold. I keep hoping that consumerism will ramp down as like conscious consumerism continues to be out in the ether. But then things like TikTok Shop happened, and I feel like we took one step forward and 20 steps back.
Something that was really frustrating is as a influencer on TikTok who does not link to TikTok Shop, they don't push videos that aren't linked to their shop.
Yeah.
It killed my reach. Absolutely killed it. Tanked it, because it's not something that I'm really promoting.
Yeah.
But when it first came out, I mean, people that were promoting it were going really viral. And they also, allegedly, have been suppressing videos that are sponsored that are not linked to TikTok Shop.
Yeah.
So there's just a whole nother slew of why it makes it even more difficult, because if you want to grow, they're basically forcing you into doing it.
Yeah. I would just say, like, personally, I've learned so much from TikTok, but now it's like, I don't know if you've experienced this, but it will be like 3 scrolls in a row is an ad from TikTok, and then a TikTok Shop, and then a TikTok Shop, and then I can finally get to like 4 organic videos, and then I'm back to the 3 scrolls of buy this.
I've basically kind of stopped even going on TikTok because I feel like nothing is happening, but I'm being pushed products. And it's really not that much better on Instagram, because everyone, comment link. So many of the sponsorship deals that we relied on have gone to affiliate marketing schemes, and it feels like the only way to kind of make money in this space right now is to have an Amazon storefront or to do TikTok Shop, and that's not something I'm really interested in. And I'm kind of worried about what the future holds financially, and if I'm gonna have to get out, because I don't know if I really want to do that, and part of me is unsure of those waters right now.
Yeah, I still don't want to, the reason I am posting about something to be to convince someone right now, based on this video I am posting, that they should buy something, that I should convince as many people as possible based on this 30-second video I'm showing you that you need this thing right now. Oh yeah, I try to be really careful about using like inflammatory language, which in the space with TikTok Shop is so normalized.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, have you seen the ones that are like, I feel sorry for the people who bought this for XYZ dollars because now it's worth the price of like a latte? It's just so frustrating as people who know, again, that this level of consumerism is not sustainable on a finite planet. It's just not.
It makes me not believe anyone.
I think those are not all of our thoughts, because there's a whole other video with more of our thoughts over on the Going Zero Waste YouTube channel, hosted by our lovely Catherine Kellogg. And I will also say that Catherine and I actually did something really cool together. We created the most comfortable period underwear on the market.
Sorry.
You didn't know it was coming?
I didn't. I thought you were going to talk about when we made fake blood yesterday.
We also did. Well,
We made fake
it's
blood
very
yesterday.
correlated. We did make fake blood yesterday.
yesterday.
We did, so that we could test out the period underwear that we created, which are, in my opinion, and I've been wearing period underwear exclusively for at least since 2018, and these are hands down the most comfortable period underwear I have ever worn. We also are size inclusive.
Yes.
We have several colors. We have different styles. We also have a $10 off your first purchase with the link in
do.
the description.
And most importantly, how long did we test these before we brought them to market?
Y'all, you gotta understand how long it takes to make a brand. I had no idea.
How long did we test these to make sure that we brought a product that was going to be well made and sustainable? How long did we test it? Do you remember?
At least a year. Yeah.
Yep. I think it was 14 months of
Yeah.
testing the actual product, because that is something that's so important to us.
Yeah.
Is making sure that what you buy is going to be worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you want to check that out, it'll also be linked to the top of the description. But go head over to Catherine's video and we'll see you there.